Hey, Mark here with another episode of All Things Video Games. I'm joined here with Greg, and we're going to talk about one company in particular that we think they're going to have some pretty incredible announcements at E3 next week.
Yeah, no,
That is Sega.
yes, and we're going to skip all the other third parties, frankly, because they're more predictable and there's not really any buzz about big surprises. So,
Plus, we did mention a couple games here and there, like in the Nintendo video.
all the other
Games, yeah, but basically we mentioned a few games here and there. Obviously EA is going to have their own show because they do every year, but it's kind of predictable, really.
Yep.
And they did just release Need for Speed trailer, which looks fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. But Sega has something in their sleeve, under their sleeve, whatever you want to say. It's big.
Yeah, they've been teasing something big.
Yeah, Sega Forever. Well, what the hell is it?
Yeah, that's what everybody's asking, and it all started a while ago, where they started teasing a game, and it ended up being Bayonetta releasing on PC with 4K and blah blah blah. Then they did the same thing with Vanquish right after that, and then somewhere in there, an interview happened where Sega was saying that they were rebranding this year and they were going to recapture their audience and kind of bring back Sega into the fold. And then Sega Forever, this term and this, like, I think it was a URL and everything emerged, and people are like, what's Sega Forever?
So first, I want to say what I believe it isn't. And that is most definitely not a Dreamcast 2. As much as me, you, and Adam Krolik, and a lot of the other Dreamcast fanatics out there would really hope, not going to happen. And I don't think it's a Dreamcast Mini, although that would be awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
Having like almost a whole library of Dreamcast games on a small box, that would be awesome. But no, I don't think so. I think this is, in my opinion, going to be a service like Xbox Game Pass or some kind of streaming service.
Like PlayStation now.
Yeah.
Now, I think the reason it's not going to be a piece of hardware at all is because they have a relationship with At Games, and At Games makes their Genesis compilation plug-and-play consoles, and it's like...
Yeah, but they're kind of poopy.
They suck, honestly. But here's the thing, is they got a good relationship with them. They're probably making some money off the licensing fees and stuff. If they were going to do like a Dreamcast Mini kind of thing,
they would
just
have
them do it.
Yeah.
And, much to my dismay, that would be what would happen. They wouldn't spoil that relationship just because. So, and then on top of it, that's a pricey venture for them. They're getting licensing fees. At Games is paying for the hardware.
Plus Tectoy in Brazil.
Well, that's
another
thing. That's another thing. Master System is still a thing over there. So
that's so crazy.
So weird, right? But cool. I mean, that's awesome, but weird. So I'm with you. This has got to be like a service of some kind.
Yeah. And if anything, maybe like Nintendo's Virtual Console. But we were mentioning in the Nintendo episode that with Virtual Console, you're hoping that the Sega games and all these come back. But with Sega Forever, if it is a service similar, I don't expect any of the Sega games to be on the Virtual Console.
I disagree. Because look at EA Access. You can still buy Madden without being an EA Access member. You can still buy Battlefront without being an Access member. You can do all those things. Same thing with Virtual Console. Nintendo came out and said that their online service is not a replacement for Virtual Console. So you can still buy all those games on their own like you normally can. Or you can subscribe and do it that way. I think Sega's going to go the same path. I think they're going to offer like a set of games for a monthly fee or something, but they're also going to have them out to buy, of course, because why cut off one avenue of revenue?
Well, let's see here. They would probably go as far back as the SG-1000.
They could.
Think about it though. There's a ton of gamers, even our age, who never played any of that stuff.
I never played a Master System in my life.
I did play Master System because I had the NES, and my friend just down the street, he had the Master System. So we'd be trading weekends where we'd stay the night to play games, and we'd always go to his place. And then it'd be funny because we'd play the Master System, but without a cartridge in it, and you'd get this mouse maze game.
Oh,
because it was built in the machine.
Yeah,
and that was kind of cool back in the day. But I think with the service, they'll go SG-1000 because there's a lot of games there that no one's ever played, at least stateside.
Yeah.
Master System, huge library. In fact, I would say, like 90% of the games were essentially funded by Sega because of Nintendo's, monopoly, essentially. And then you could go up to the Genesis, giant library there. I'd love to see Streets of Rage, come back.
Well, there was a leak. Somebody had said, I don't even remember who now, but somebody had said that they saw a document about Sega Forever, and it had listed a bunch of games. And the only system that seemed to be missing from the list was Dreamcast games, which is bizarre. But I could see that as like, this is where we're starting with the service, more to come. Because I don't know why they would leave out Dreamcast specifically, of all things. It had Saturn games on it, though. So if the list is real at all, I don't know. Why would you leave out Dreamcast?
The only reason that might be is if indeed they're going to bring out like a Dreamcast Mini, whether they build it or At Games builds it or Tectoy, and then Tectoy, submits it worldwide or something. That could be the reason, because why buy the Mini if you could then just subscribe to the service?
I think that you come back to the same question. Like, you have the NES Classic that came out, but you can buy all those games on any virtual console from the last two Nintendo systems.
Yeah,
but that didn't stop them from making them.
It's the nostalgic feeling.
And that's just my point, though, is that there's people that the people that were buying the Classic weren't necessarily people that would normally buy the games or buy a game system anyway. A lot of these people were like, oh, I remember the Nintendo. That was cool. But they never owned a Wii or Wii U. So they have no idea the virtual console is a thing.
Yeah.
Different market.
Plus, it was easy access to those older games, considered the price range.
Yeah. I really think that if this is a service and it's like a Netflix type service, like I think it is, I think that the exclusion of Dreamcast games out of the gate is simply a pacing thing, where they're not going to throw everything out at once. It's going to be like, over time, we'll add a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more, and maybe remove some stuff for a while and bring it back. And
keep the interest going.
Right, because if you throw it all out at once, it'll be awesome for like a couple months, and then it'll fizzle out and nobody will care. It's just burning too hot too fast.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So if it's a service, are you subscribing?
Honestly, that would depend how much it costs. What games are available at launch? Because, like, number one, I never had a Saturn. My friend did, but he was 2.5 hours away, so we didn't really see him but maybe once a month. And we would play whatever games he had. And I remember, at the time, let's see, we played Virtual Cop, Virtual Fighter. There was Mortal Kombat 3, I think, or Ultimate 3. Daytona USA, he had. All those, like classic or Sega games at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the Dreamcast, brought it to his house, and it was like, we kind of forgot about, Saturn.
Yeah.
But I would love to be able to play a lot of those games again.
What systems would you want to play the most if this were a service?
Probably the Genesis and Saturn to start. Now, I haven't played too many Master System games.
Yeah.
The one that I remember playing the most at my friend's place was Altered Beast.
That was a rough port, wasn't it?
Very. And I remember actually he had just bought it, or his mom and dad did. And we went over, or I went there, spent the night, and we were playing it. And of course, you're kids. You don't know at that time how bad a game is. We're just, this is cool, transforming and stuff. And then I went to a store the next day. It's called Hills. They had a big demo unit of the Sega Genesis with the new controller, 3 buttons. They had Altered Beast running. And I was like, whoa, this looks a lot better. And then I was like, look at this controller. It's different. And I didn't know the difference between Sega Master System and Genesis. I just thought Sega. Because at the time, I was all Nintendo. And I come home, I said, dude, I saw Altered Beast running on some other new Sega machine, and it looks far better, and it has 3 buttons.
That's
and
funny.
we were like,
3
whoa.
buttons.
We were like, whoa. So it's like, damn.
I personally would like to see Saturn and arcade.
Ooh, yeah, arcade. There's
because
Sega GT, Super Sega GT, I think.
So,
I'd love to play.
There's so many. Like, I'm not even going to try to list any because there's so many arcade games that they'd be fun for like probably a couple minutes, a lot of them, but then might not want to play anymore. But the thing is, just to be able to try them out, because they're basically non-existent now unless you use MAME.
Yeah, or go to Dave & Buster's, but not every town has a Dave & Buster's.
No. So that's what I would like to see. I really think it's going to be a service, and I'm anxious to see what it actually is when it comes. Hopefully in a week or so, we'll know.
Also then, to top off this video, I'd like to talk about some games that I believe they're going to show off. Alien Isolation 2, I think, is a good one. And I know the first game definitely had some scary moments. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying it was a good game. And well received, and definitely visually captured the movies perfectly.
Yeah, it did. It'd be great if they added VR support for it too.
Oh my dear
If they haven't
Lord.
already, I mean, they
would have to for sure bundle, like maybe in the collector's edition or something, some Sega branded Depends.
That'd be funny. Yeah,
you're gonna need these. You're gonna shit your pants.
It sounds weird, but I really want to see them take a lot of their games from the last couple generations, like PS2 on up, and remaster and re-release them on modern systems.
You want Panzer Dragoon?
I definitely want Orta brought over. I would like all of them brought over, honestly. But that, and then like there's like Gun Valkyrie, Jet Set Radio Future.
Well, any of the Jet Set games.
The Jet Set games have been re-released. The first one has been a few times. Like I have it on PC, and a 360 and Dreamcast, but I would like to have the sequel specifically re-released. I would like to see like
almost like Nintendo did with Wind Waker.
Yeah, I'd like to see I'd like to see the Sonic games from that PS2 generation re-release as well. Not just the adventures, but like Sonic Heroes, and then moving up a generation to like Sonic Unleashed. Like keep it around. Like you don't have to enhance it or nothing. Just keep it around.
It would probably be part of their service for sure.
Yeah, and that would make sense. But a new Sonic Racing would be awesome. Sumo Digital is now done with Snake Pass, so who knows? Maybe they could make another Sonic Racing. 'Cause to me, that was on par with Mario Kart 8, in my opinion. So I would love to see another one.
Another game that, or actually this would be two games that I would like for them to do, and I kind of believe that they're going to show off, is Shenmue 1 and 2 Remastered.
HD. Yeah.
Because Shenmue 3 is right around the corner. Now, they're not going to be showing
Next
it
year.
off. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's for what it is. It's going to take a long time anyway, but
Yeah.
they already said that they're not going to be at E3 this year because they're really focusing on just getting the game done.
Yeah.
I'm a backer. I'm getting the physical PS4 version, and I get emails at least once a month with progress reports, on various things. And I personally would like to see 1 and 2 come out, let's say for PS4. It could be the other systems too. But then have cross-save support so that what happens in 1 will, come into 2 because it's supposed to. But then also do that with the third game. I don't know how that would work out considering it's different developers and whatever, but it might work out. I know it wasn't originally planned that way, but I think with all of the interest in Shenmue 3 and the backing and everything, that maybe Sega might have kind of clicked the light bulb a little bit and thought, you know what, we could rebring these out and make some money off it because people will buy it.
Well, they seem to be understanding what they need to do to be successful. When you look at like Sonic Mania, for example, that is listening to the fans 100%. That game looks amazing. And
wasn't it some fans that started working on that and then pitched the idea?
Yeah, I mean they actually were like ROM hackers, basically. They made custom Sonic games for fun, and Sega ended up hiring them to do the emulation and now design work on this one, while they are actually working on the next main installment in the Sonic franchise.
That's a
Sonic
brilliant
Forces.
move. Brilliant move on their part.
To make it even more brilliant is that it looks like they're basing their work on Sonic Forces on the last well-received Sonic game being Sonic Generations, which is a brilliant move too. And then having like Bayonetta and Vanquish come out on the modern platforms, I guess PC anyway. It's like they're understanding what is good in their catalog and what they need to bring back. And I'm liking it. Like they need to keep up with this trend.
Yeah. And also, for PlayStation VR, I would love Sega to bring out Virtual Cop, and
that'd be funny.
It could be
House of
different.
the Dead.
House of the Dead would be awesome.
Yeah.
But, any of those light gun games that they had in the past, or even from the arcades, bring maybe like a compilation.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
PlayStation 4 for the VR, and man, that would be, if anything, Sony needs to approach Sega and be like, hey, we want you to do this. Here's a bunch of money. Do it.
I would like to see a number of compilations, actually. take Nights into Dreams. They did an HD version of that, but there was a sequel on the Wii, Journey into Dreams or something like
which
that.
I never played, but
I would like them to redo that one in HD as well. Put them on a disc, put them out there.
Yeah, that would be good.
Or even digitally, I guess. Disc would be great, but I'll take whatever I can get at this point. But, they could do that with a lot of other franchises, too, like Virtual Cop, House of the Dead, that stuff, but also their racing games, their arcade racers.
Yeah, definitely.
Sega Rally, Daytona. Might have to rename Daytona, but who cares? And stuff, just various things like that. I would just like to see more activity on that side.
I think that actually would work out really well.
Yep. It'll be exciting. I don't really have anything else to add, but I think it's going to be an exciting E3 for sure.
Yep.
On all fronts.
I don't have anything else either. So with everything, if anyone has anything, please mention it in the comments section. But before doing so, please subscribe and hit that like button. And like always, happy gaming.